Hi, it's Heather from Teaching with Coffee and Mascara, and today we are talking all about building classroom community. So we started last week and we learned the first step in building classroom communities, and that was to make sure that your students were engaged and involved in the classroom. This week we are going to be talking all about getting to know your students. So if you feel like there's kind of a missing piece in really having that strong classroom community, this could be it. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 different ideas of ways that you can build a strong classroom community. And it all, actually, there's a lot of ways to build a strong classroom community. Today we're actually focused and zeroing in on just getting to know your students. So way 1 is to send home at the very beginning of the year a family interview. So one of the reasons why I love family interviews, I started using them a little bit later in my teaching career, is that you really get to know your students through the eyes of the parent. And some of the ways that this can help you is that, on the interview, you want to make sure and ask questions about things that they're interested in, things that they like, things that they don't like. So maybe if you have a student that's struggling, so for example, one time I had a student, he was struggling to learn to read. I was able to look at the interview and say, okay, he loves cars. So let me find books about cars to help ignite his interest. Now, of course, obviously you can't always use things that interest them, but it is a good starting place to get some of those kids that are kind of reluctant to be excited about learning and be excited in your classroom. All right. My next thing that I love to do is a student survey. Now, I'll do these in the classroom, and for the upper grades, sometimes I do kind of just questions, kind of a student survey. But for the lower grades, or if I want it to be a little bit more fun, I will do an activity. So like this one. So this is a backpack. So not only is it like an activity and it's fun, it also helps ask some questions to help me really get to know the students. And so I love to read those and go through them and just kind of learn about what kind of person my kids are and who they really are. All right, so you say, okay, Heather, I've tried these things, they're great. That's for the beginning of the year. But as time goes on, we really get into the rigor of curriculum, and we we don't really have as much time for that. We don't have as much time to sit and talk to our kids and sit to get to know them. And so I have 2 other activities for you that are year long. So my first activity that I like to use is a question of the day, or it can be a question of the week, depending on your time. And there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. So one that I love to use with a little bit of older grades is like a whiteboard question. So you write a big question on the whiteboard. If you could go anywhere, where would you want to go? And you give them all Post-it notes. They write down their answer. So not only are they practicing writing, but you're also getting to know them. And then they go and they stick them up on the board. Maybe you share 5, and then you yourself can read them later, or you could share them, 5 a day each week, throughout the week. And then at the end of the week, you do a new question. You can also keep it more simple than that, though. You could do a would you rather question, would you rather go to a theme park or go shopping at the mall? So you could do a bunch of would you rather questions, which make it quick, easy, and sometimes, kind of get them thinking outside of the box. Those are really fun. And then last one that I just saw recently that I can actually drop the link for, I love this idea. It's just a simple yes or no question, or a picking 2, do you like dogs, or do you have a dog? Do you have a pet? Yes or no? Would you rather have an iguana or a fish? Really fun things, and they're all themed, and I love that idea because it just kind of gives you a chance to get to know your kids in 5 minutes or less. All right, my last activity that I really like to do, there's a couple of different ways and different things that it's called. So one is called a rose, thorn, bud. And so basically you would pick I like to do them at the end of the day, I would divide my kids up. So like if I have 25 kids, 5 days, 5 kids a day would be our goal. And the first student shares a rose, something good that's going on in their life, at school, a bud, something that they're starting to learn or something that they are wanting to learn. And then a thorn could be something bad that happened or something that they would want to change for the following day. This gives them a chance to share not only good things, but sometimes they need a safe space to be able to share bad things as well. And there's not a lot of time in the day to be like, well, my grandma died. You know, sometimes kids are also dealing with heavy stuff, and sometimes they won't have one. Sometimes maybe they won't have a rose, or they won't have a bud or a thorn, and that's okay. So that's kind of like a fun way to really get to know your students, because you're getting to hear from them every single week and they're getting to share. So I would love if in the comments you would let me know which one of these you plan to try and how it goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Next week, next Sunday, I will be coming back and we will be talking all about how to really build a strong connection with your students, to help build on that classroom community, to get our classroom community strong, to then get our classroom management strong. See you next week.